What's going on, guys? Brett here with the BS Show, and before I get started on this video, I want to apologize. I'm actually driving in my car right now, so if you hear any background noise or blinkers, that's why. I'm actually on my way to a meeting with Dana White. He wants me to take over as president of the UFC, so there's some big things happening for the BS Show, and I think Steven's going to be my assistant. You know, I need a paper pusher or somebody to clean up the office, so... Anyways, we got some potential fight news this year I wanted to talk about, and it's not a fight that's set in stone, but it's a fight I think that would be an extreme fan favorite, and that is the one and only Street Jesus Jorge Masvidal has proclaimed he would much rather fight Conor McGregor than fight Kamaru Usman for the title. And his reasoning is, and which I do agree with him, he said, Conor McGregor's not going to be around forever. I'm not going to have the ability to make that kind of money forever, so I want to take that fight when I can. The belt will always be around, which is true. And there's two ways you can look at it. You can look at it from the aspect of, well, Street Jesus, do you want to be the UFC champion or do you want to make a lot of money? And to really not anybody's surprise, not mine most definitely, Street Jesus would rather make a truckload of money. So I really don't think you can blame him for that. So let's just assume for a minute that this fight does happen. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen. Obviously, Conor McGregor has to beat Donald Cerrone this Saturday, which is tomorrow. But that is a fight that both parties have expressed a lot of interest in. You know, Street Jesus is just coming off a huge win against Nate Diaz for the BMF belt, and his stock is continuously rising, which is unfortunate because he's been a great fighter in the UFC for, 10, 12 plus years. And for him to only get that notoriety this late in his career is a shame. But hey, you know what? It's fine. It's happening now. So I think with his stock rising, he is on Conor McGregor's radar. And not only that, Conor McGregor has even said, I feel really good at 170 pounds, and I might stick around. We'll see how the Donald Cerrone fight goes, and if everything goes well, I might hang around 170 pounds. Me as an outsider looking in, I don't proclaim to be an expert. Steven and I only talk about kind of what we think. I don't think it's a good idea for Conor McGregor to hang around the 170-pound division. I think those guys are going to be much too big and much too strong for him. And not only that, Kamaru Usman's the champion. He's Khabib on steroids. So if he thought he struggled with Khabib's wrestling, he's absolutely going to struggle with Kamaru Usman's wrestling. And Kamaru Usman's got great striking as well. But even if we just talk about Jorge Masvidal, I mean, Jorge Masvidal put Nate Diaz on his butt 2 or 3 times in the first round or second couple rounds. So, Jorge Masvidal, I think, would have a very good chance to beat Conor McGregor, and I would actually pick him to win that fight. Another reason why Conor probably wants that fight is because Dana White said that Jorge Masvidal's too big for Conor. So Conor always likes to take the challenge, and he always likes to be the guy that kind of, goes against what people think. So, but I think Dana White's right. I think Jorge Masvidal's way too big for Conor. I think his hands are way too quick, and I think, in my opinion, Jorge Masvidal probably has some of the best pure boxing in the UFC, if not all of MMA. And it seems like he's just finding his stride in the UFC. He's always been a great fighter, but he used to say that he really overthought the cardio issues, and he didn't really put it all together. And now that he's not worried about cardio and he's got his strength and conditioning put together, now he's really going in for the finish. And I mean, his last 4 or 5 fights have showed it. In no particular order, he's beat Nate Diaz, he knocked out Donald Cerrone, he knocked out Darren Till. I mean, this guy is he's on one right now. So I think that would be a huge fight. And like I've said in some previous videos, Conor McGregor has stated he wants to fight 3 times in 2020. So it's very possible. You got both parties that want it, so we'll see how it goes. So let's just assume that fight does happen. Let me know in the comments who you guys got, who you think would win that fight, who you think's the favorite. I would pick Jorge Masvidal, obviously, if it's at 170 pounds. But, you know, we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in.